Hey everybody, I'm making a quick tutorial here to show you how you can use PD++ in Unity. Let's get started. So first you need to get all the necessary files and scripts. So you would go to my GitHub, which is github.com/Robert Essler, my name. And then you'll see either my all my repositories. You can go straight to Pd4Unity. Then under this little code thing, you can either copy this and clone it if you know how to do that. I'm not going to show you. Otherwise, just download it. And it will show up as a zip like this. And then you just drag this straight into a Unity project like I've done here. Okay, so then it should generally be okay. On Mac, you might be asked by the privacy manager to more or less say that this is safe and is not a virus, because sometimes Mac will think that dynamic libraries are viruses. And there's going to be also a Windows version in there. You can delete that, and you can delete the folder that says old. You'll see in this one there's an old, a DLL, and then there's some others for if you're using an Intel. So you can keep the one that you are that you need and delete the others. I don't think this is necessary, but I have it load on startup. I think Unity does that by default, but I put it in there just in case. Otherwise, it should be fine. And if you have any issue, I've already approved this through my privacy security manager, so that's all that I had to do. Once I hit play, I think it made me do that, or I can't remember, but it definitely made me go into my privacy security settings. On Windows, I didn't have to do anything like that, so that kind of tells you something about Windows. Okay, so I put the rain script, which is in our examples here, and it's the same rain I've been using in any other tutorials. And when you look at it, there's a few things that if you're going to get to the scripting level here, you need to know. One is that if you're going to use the library, you have to use the PD++ namespace. Okay, and that will automatically look in that DLL for, actually it's going to look for not the DLL, but all these source files here. These are little C# wrappers for our DLL that is written in C++. And C# has this nice little way to access native code through a basically a function table that works really well. And all right, so I just basically made an audio source. So now the way this works is that anything that runs in your scripts will also run through an audio source. So you get all of the 3D audio sound settings. You get any of the other sound components, so distortion, echo, all this stuff. You can run it through your mixers, right? So I can run it through my my ambience track here, and I could also put additional effects. So you get everything. It's built in with everything that Unity already comes with, and that's because I lost it. If you're familiar with typical Unity scripts, you always have this start, which is basically on load. This is where you put anything that needs to be initialized. You have a deconstructor. This is where you have to delete, just like in any other version of this library, other than just pure C++, you have to delete each object you create from the library. So it deletes it in memory on the C++ side, otherwise you'll have a memory leak. So just follow the templates and the examples of how I do that. I create a separate algorithm called run algorithm just to keep it consistent with all of my other versions of this for Java and C++. But Unity provides this on audio filter read, which is basically access to the audio DSP loop signal chain. So you basically are writing stuff to the signal chain along with everything else in your signal chain. And this is basically directly accessing that loop. And it's great. And this is implementation that I more or less borrowed from Unity's example. And anything that runs now output R and output L, anything that goes into there then gets written to this data buffer. And you'll hear it as regular audio. So I'm going to show you an example here. I have a music generator that I whipped up in C++ and the rain. And there you go. And now I can control that rain if I want to bring it down a little bit. Oh yeah, edit and play mode. Maybe balance that a little bit more. Maybe I want to add some effects or something like that. And there you go. And then you can control the rain based on all of your public parameters like you do with any script. And you don't have to write separate getter setters and all that stuff. So it's as simple as that. And you can take most of your code from, if you're coming from processing or even C++, you can usually take your code and wrap it pretty quickly into more or less the same C# script. And what I did was I used ChatGPT to do that. So I took a processing sketch, said, can you convert this to C#? All right, that's it. I am going to show you next time how you can do this in middleware like Fmod. See you then.